acceleration. The acceleration is change in velocity over time. So if you want to calculate the acceleration of an object, you will divide, or the first step, you will have to find the, I mean that I switch on my car. I start with a, with a V naught, or the V at the 0 time with 2 meter per second, as with the 0 meter per second. I'm starting from the rest. After 5 minutes, my velocity is 3 minutes per second, as an example. Okay, I start from the rest. After a few minutes or few seconds, after 5 seconds, as an example, my velocity will be 3 meters per second. I want now to find the acceleration. The first step you have to find, you will say that the acceleration is the V final minus V initial, the V final minus V initial. So you have to find the change in velocity over the time that it's needed to change this velocity. So the acceleration is a change in velocity over time. This will be my formula to find the acceleration. V final minus V initial over time. Or you can write it as delta V over T. This delta, it's mean change. Delta V over T. This will be my formula of an acceleration. Let's now talk about it.
Teacher?
Yes?
An acceleration is the speed that changes in time.
Sorry, the acceleration is what?
It's the speed that changes in time.
It is the change of velocity over time.
Okay.
Okay?
Like it's not like instantaneous, right?
Yes. Later on, I will tell you sometimes how it will be changed in speed. But until now, the acceleration, as we know, is a change in velocity by time. Oh, divided by
Teacher,
time. Yes, Maya.
what is the definition of velocity?
It's a changing of it's a changing of speed during a time.
Okay.
Okay. Or when the velocity is changing, like this. Velocity is changing during a time. Now, the acceleration. The acceleration, as I told you, it is a change of velocity in a time interval. Like, as an example, I start from 0 second. Okay, I switch on my car. I started to move. At the 0 second, when my car is stopped, my speed, my velocity will be 0 kilometer per hour. Okay, when I switch on the car and start to move, after 1 hour, when I look at my speedometer, told me that my velocity now, or my speed now, is 40 kilometer per hour. Okay, I am in my car at the 0 second at the morning. There's no, I am at the beginning of the interval, it was 0. And my velocity is 0. After 1 hour, when I look at my speedometer of my car, I found that the velocity here is 40 kilometer per hour. I want now to find the acceleration. The first step, you have to find the change on velocity over the change also of time. And sometimes if you write the time, the ending time only, it will be okay. But sometimes if you start from 4 hour, as an example, from 4 hours, I ask you until 8, you have to find the difference between them, which is 4. So here, if you want to find the acceleration, you have to find the change of velocity, which is v final minus v initial, over the change of time. That's mean the t final minus t initial. This is the t final, which is 1 hour, minus the t initial, which is 0. Then, so the acceleration here, it will be delta v over delta t. The change of velocity, it will be 4t minus 0 over 1 minus 0. So the answer is
40.
40. Yes.
Teacher, actually, I get confused. Can you repeat it?
Fine. Okay.
Thank you.
Here now, I am on a car. Okay, other morning. Oh, I will make other question. The car, okay, is start to move or to start to change its velocity. Here, it starts with 5 kilometer per hour or 50 kilometer per hour. This is the first velocity, and at 2 or at 12 o'clock, as an example. Okay, at 12 o'clock, the car is here velocity is 50 kilometer per hour. Okay, it started, it was moving before, but at a constant speed. At 12 p.m. as an example, it start now to change her velocity or its velocity. It was the velocity now is 50 kilometer per hour. After she moving, when the car is here now, okay, her velocity now it's 90 kilometer per hour because it's increased, and the time now is 2 o'clock. Or you can say 14 as an example. 14 o'clock. So now I'm starting at 12 p.m. with a 50 kilometer per hour. After that, I increase my velocity to be as 90 kilometer per hour and I reached my destination at 2 o'clock. I want to find now the acceleration. The acceleration now is the change of velocity over the change of time. And also, I can rewrite it as delta V over delta T. Now, where is delta V? Delta V, it's mean the change of velocity. That's mean it's V final
which is 90 kilometer
initial over T final minus T initial. Now, the V final here, that's mean the last velocity I was on it, which is 90, minus the first velocity I start with it, which is 50.
50.
What is the last, or at the V final, what is the time?
14.
It is 14. minus at the, wait please, I want to accept Lana.
Minus 12.
Minus 12, thank you. So it will be 90 minus 50, which is
It will
40,
be 2.
over 2,
Yeah, over 2,
which is 20.
which is 20.
So now, the acceleration now is 20. Now what's the unit will be? Look at now, as we know, the unit of the
Kilometer per hour.
it is kilometer per hour. And the unit for the time, it's also an hour. So, what does it mean? That's mean it is kilometer per hour per hour. And
What? How?
as you know in math. Okay, now let's go back to the math. As you know in math, if you have 3 over 4 over 5, how it will be? It will be 3 over 5 times what?
Times the reciprocal.
Which is 1 over 5. So you will say it's 3 times 4 times 3 over 4
20.
times 5. 3 over 4 times 5. Here, you will have the same. But how it will be now? It will be as a units. The units here is kilometer per hour per hour. That means it is kilometer per hour divided by
1 over
hour. What does it mean? Kilometer per hour, and the division is will be multiplied, and the reciprocal of one hour is 1 over hour. So it will be kilometer per hour squared. Or you will say that kilometer per hour times hour. This will be more correct. يعني.
احنا ما كنا بنشيله، ما كنا بنعمل سكيب للاور والاور.
No, I told you here why, and why I go back to the
I know here. I know here, but like in the last lesson, we did not skip it.
In the last lesson, it's for velocity.
Yeah.
But I didn't. How, yeah,
Like we skip hour with hour.
Hour with hour. Ah,
yeah,
this,
even in the quiz. Even in
no,
the quiz.
no. This okay. لا. In the quiz, if I ask you like speed is equal to distance over time, and the distance is in meter, the time is in second, and the speed is in meter per second. When you multiply them, you will cancel them, so you will have the meter. This is different than the acceleration. Here now, no. In this one here you have a where I was here kilometer per hour times hour. This will be the unit of the acceleration. Why I want you to keep it like this? Because sometimes the unit of velocity is kilometer per hour, and the changing of time, it will be in seconds. So if you want to write it, you have to write it like this: kilometer per hour second. This will be now the unit of the acceleration. If the speed or the velocity, sorry, is in kilometer per hour and the time is in seconds, you have to write it like kilometer per hour second. Is it clear now?
Yeah, because we make the reciprocal division into.
Yes, so just write it like this: kilometer per hour times second. If, as an example, the acceleration, as an example here now, as we know that it is change over time, and the unit of velocity, it was miles per hour. And the change of time, time, yes, it will be in minutes as an example. So how the unit of the acceleration will be? It will be miles per hour minute. Okay? Is it clear?
Yes.
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 طيب. No. Now go back to my slides. So now here we can change the states of motion of an object by changing its speed and its direction of motion, or both. Here, the change of velocity, or if the velocity is changing, as I told you before, that's mean I need to change either the direction or the magnitude. So if I want to say, or if I say change of velocity, and I'm talking about velocity, so that either the direction is changing or the magnitude, because this is a velocity. But if I'm moving on a straight line without changing in direction, okay, I can say the acceleration is change of speed over time interval. So if I'm walking, on a straight line, I will use only, it's a change of speed over time. But if I'm moving with a change of magnitude and a change of direction at the same time, I will say it's a change of velocity over time. Mathematically, both of them are correct because you just subtracted magnitude, subtracted numbers, and the units also will not be changed. But here you have to know, if you are walking on a straight line, as I said before, there's no change in direction. So I will say it's change of speed. But if I'm moving now in a curved path or a circular path or an angle as an example, I will say that the direction is moving and the magnitude, the direction is changing, and also the magnitude is changing. So now the velocity is changing too. So what is an acceleration? It is the rate of the velocity at which the velocity is changing. It is the rate at which the velocity is changing. It is a rate at which the velocity is changing. This is an acceleration. Now, but as we know, I told you it is a change of velocity. And the change of velocity, that's mean I have a V initial and I have V final. And since these two numbers are subtracted, the answer, it could be positive and it could be negative. Is it right? I mean, if you start with 3, sorry, if you...
And maybe a great number which is -4, it will be -1.
Sorry, here it was V final. V final minus V initial. If I'm starting with 3 and after that my velocity is 5. Here, if I'm starting with 6, then I was decrease my velocity, it was 3 after that. Look at the first one. I'm on 3. After a few minutes, my velocity is 5. So I increase my velocity. I'm starting with 3, then I increase my velocity to be 5. So the answer here is positive, 5 minus 3.
Yeah.
Because of that, I will call it here an acceleration. But if I am
But if I'm going
starting
backwards,
with 6 and I increase my velocity to be as a 3, the number, the changing here is negative. That's, we called it deceleration. Acceleration, it's mean that the change of velocity is positive, and deceleration, it's mean that the changing of velocity is negative. Let's have another example. Oh, I will give you an example here. And what I have to do here? I mean that the first state here, if I'm talking about acceleration, like I'm starting with, oh, I switch on my car with at 0 second with 0 kilometer per hour. All of us know that when I switch on my car, if you look at the speedometer, that the velocity is 0 and the time it's still 0. After I moving with or after 30 seconds, 30 minutes as an example, okay, if I look at the speedometer, my velocity, it was now 40 kilometers per hour. Another thing, that if I am now moving my car with 60 kilometers per hour, I am on the street, and on the street, when I look at the speedometer, my velocity is 60 kilometers per hour, and I am now at 4 o'clock as an example. I'm walking with 60 kilometers per hour. When I reach the mall as an example, my destination, I was press on the brake. So all of us know the brake, it's mean I will decrease brake. It's mean I will decrease my velocity. So my velocity now, when I press the brake, it will be 0 now. When I stop my car, it will be 0. And the time now is 5 p.m. Look, no, go back to the first one. In the first one here, I'm starting with 0. The first destination, the starting with 0, I'm ending with 40. So because of that now, the acceleration is change of velocity over changing of time. Please 1 minute and I will write.
can't hear you again.
Okay, sorry. Bye. Who's writing on the board?
For 1 minute.
Okay, now. So after that, we say that, okay, here you have to find delta V. That's mean change of velocity. I'm in 40. The V final, I reached now 0, the initial, over 30 minutes. So because of that now, the acceleration will be 40, or sorry, 4 over 3, or okay, 40 over 30 kilometer per hour. This is a unit for an velocity times minute. So it will be 4 over 3 kilometer per hour minute. Is it clear now?
If I type it in the way kilometers per hour over minute, it will be wrong, right?
Yes, it was wrong. Now look at the second one here. In the second one, I have to find the acceleration now with V final minus V initial over time. The V final here is 0. Minus the V initial here is 60. Over the time, the T final is 5. Over the T initial is 4. So what it have to be? It will be 0 minus 60 over 4 over 5 minus 4.
5 minutes.
Which is negative 60 over 1. So it is negative 60 kilometers
per hour times minute.
Times hour. That was an hour. So this negative sign, what does it mean? As I told you, that means it's a declaration. Declaration because my speed now is decrease. So that's mean when the speed or the velocity is decreased, it will be a declaration. And if the speed is increased, it will be an acceleration. Okay, do you have any question now? The period will finish before this time 1 minute.